Good afternoon and welcome to everyone for our live show today that will be highlighting our Shelter Medicine Club. I'm Dr. Ruth Schrader. I'm the Senior Associate Director for Graduate Admissions with RUS. And with me today are three of our absolutely awesome Rossies. And they will be talking about their role in the Shelter Medicine Club in just a couple minutes. But first, I did want to be sure and let our audience know that we would like to keep this interactive. Please put your questions in the chat question area, and we will answer them in real time. Kendall, Natalie, and Willow are anxious to tell you as much as they can and answer any of your questions about their club with Ross. And also you'll notice there is a URL that's pinned to the top of your Facebook or YouTube in the comments area, and that will direct you to a page to find out a little bit more about RUSVM and our DVM program and the St. Kitts campus. So I am going to turn it over to our real stars of the program. And I think what I'll do is just start with Kendall. Kendall, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kendall. I'm actually the president of the Shelter Medicine organization. I'm a third semester student, and I'm currently on island. A little bit about me is I have 7 cats and 1 puppy.
Wow. Are they yours, or are they you fostering them?
They're all mine.
Okay. Got quite a crew there. All right, Natalie.
Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Salinardo and I'm the Canine Foster Coordinator for the Shelter Med Club. I'm also a third semester student and I'm also on island. I'm just about finished with my quarantine. And I'm interested in Shelter Medicine Club. I'm interested in participating in shelter medicine after graduation. And so I thought this club would be a really cool idea to dip my toes in the world of shelter med.
All right, great. And I'm sure we'll be able to hear a lot more about those opportunities on St. Kitts to do that in just a couple minutes. So Kendall, on to you.
Well,
I'm sorry, Willow.
Willow. My name is Willow Hardesty. I am the one of the feline medical coordinators for the RUS student chapter of the Association of Shelter Veterinarians. I am from Annapolis, Maryland, and that's currently where I am. I wasn't fortunate enough to get to go back to St. Kitts just yet. I've been in the club since fall of 2019, so just about a year now. Just wanted to get involved with more being able to educate other students and the local petitions about shelter medicine. And we have a pretty great program here, so that's...
All right, great. Thanks, Willow. So first of all, I think just to give our audience kind of a good overview of the Shelter Medicine Club, maybe talk a little bit about its current status, its mission, how you connect from a professional standpoint with shelter medicine. So I don't know, Kendall, if you want to get started with that, and then others can, Natalie and Willow, you can just chime in.
So the Shelter Medicine Club on campus is really cool. It's very interactive with the students, the faculty, and the locals. So we get a lot of experience just going on calls, meeting new people, and learning how to help these animals, getting them into good foster homes and then eventually good forever homes. I've had a great time being an officer and working, with everyone and, really helping these animals out.
All right. So I know, Natalie or Willow, you can probably answer this. I am fairly new to understanding your merger with 2 clubs, the PAWS. I always thought of shelter medicine on St. Kitts as the PAWS Club. And you've merged that now with SAFE. So tell us a little bit about why that merger and what's the benefit to students now that you're a little more connected with the professionals.
I was involved with SAFE before the merger, and SAFE was more for emergency situations. If a local found a dog that maybe was hit by a car or something, SAFE would step in that way. Whereas to my understanding, PAWS was more of the welfare side. So perhaps a local had a puppy, had a dog that had a litter, that would be taken in by PAWS. And it really, PAWS and SAFE were really just two sides of the same coin. So it just made sense to combine two forces to, take care of not only the emergency situations, but also the not less crucial, but less intense, litter of puppies here and there. Someone found a dog and we can't find an owner. Can you help us out?
Right. And I understand, Willow, then that this is a chapter of is it a national organization of shelter veterinarians, or how does that kind of connection work to the professional organization?
Yeah, so it's that each school has a SAVMA board. Not every school necessarily has a shelter veterinary club, but we're basically just a subset, a student chapter of that national board. Kind of the same. I think that's what most veterinary students or people interested in going to veterinary school are probably more aware of, is how we all have our student chapter of the AVMA, but it's kind of the same concepts of just a student chapter of a veterinary specialty being shelter medicine.
Okay. And does that give you, I know it's fairly recent, but does that give you connections to speakers or opportunities for students for maybe some extra opportunities?
It definitely does. The full name for our club is the student chapter of the Association of Shelter Veterinarians. So being that we're part of a bigger organization, it does give us opportunities to speakers and different already existing talks and things that we can get involved in. Our bylaws are, approved by them as well. So we're, an official chapter of them. And we merged May of this year, actually. So we're fairly new.
Mm-hmm. All right, great. Well, so tell the audience a little bit now about some of those hands-on learning opportunities on St. Kitts. What are some of the things you get involved in the community, and in particular with the BARC, with the Animal Resource Center?
So I think I can start by talking about BARC, and then if Willow would want to talk about our outreach days. Mm-hmm. So the BARC is called the Bastir Animal Rescue Center. They just opened fall of last year, the first animal rescue on island. So it was a huge deal, and they've been awesome in helping us out. They've been able to take some cases we couldn't, and vice versa. They've been a huge help to the locals as well, because they offer low-cost services to the community. They do preventative, they supply preventions for dogs and cats. They do vaccines and wellness exams. And what's also really cool is that they're not technically part of RUS, but they work with RUS so that the 7th semester students can do shelter medicine rotations there. And they are able to go there and learn hands-on from Dr. Peta, who's also our advisor for the Shelter Medicine Club. So it's a super awesome opportunity to work with them. They also, just as we do, they take in strays and surrenders from owners. And they've been really awesome with us. We're also hosting a adoption day with them next Saturday, November 7th. So we've been working very closely with them. It's been awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So tell us a little bit more about some of those community initiatives and outreach, Willow.
So just kind of circling back to BARC, Dr. Peta did recently do a live stream. If anyone wants to go back and watch that, it's definitely really great that we're able to have our faculty advisor as one of the board members of BARC, and we've been really fortunate to have that close connection with them. As far as our community outreach, our biggest community outreach is that we're doing an outreach day once a semester. And basically what that means is we're going out as students with veterinarians that are either faculty or staff at Ross, and they're overseeing us, and we're being able to help do exams, give vaccines, do blood tests on local animals for free, no charge to the local community. And it's something that has been really well received in the community. They really appreciate it and enjoy being able to come out for these outreach days. And it's also really great for us as students because we're getting to have hands-on experience doing, you know, a regular day-to-day kind of thing that you would do in GP or even well, in shelter medicine or even GP practice. So we also, I mean, I think one of the things that kind of sets us aside from the other clubs, like, yes, a lot of the clubs at Ross do definitely have a lot of hands-on, but we're actually taking animals into our program. And so we're actually taking on the responsibility of caring for these animals and making sure that they're getting the medical attention, the behavioral supplementation, enrichment, any, you know, the full, it's a very fully involved club, particularly for the officers. And we're trying to make it so that our members can get even more involved with these animals as well. We're planning on hopefully having like training days where we can get our members closely involved to get more familiar with these different skills as far as like doing exams, vaccines, drawing blood and things like that. We haven't entirely nailed out all the fine lines for those, but that's definitely something that we're looking forward to trying to get done so that everyone can get more involved.
Right. Natalie, maybe tell the audience a little bit about how they can join and how they can get involved then if they're interested. That was a great segue, Willow, into possibly joining the club and the process for that.
So things are a little hairy right now because of COVID-19. Usually we'll have members join we have a club fair at Ross, and if you're interested in our club, you come up, sign up. And one really cool thing that members are able to do is that they're able to go out on call with officers to investigate further if there's a dog or a cat that's in need. As of right now, because there's such a limited students on island, our members are mostly, they're more digital. Is we will post animals on Facebook. We'll try and, you know, raise money on Facebook. It's really more of a virtual platform that the members are engaging with the club.
Yeah. All right. Good. And I do know, Dr. Pato, that particular presentation is on Ross Vet's Facebook page. So those that do want to go back and take a look at that is there for you. So you talked a little bit about fundraising and helping out the community. So what do those funds go to? What do they need assistance with that the campus and the club are able to really help BARC, as well as Catetians in general?
So we do a lot of fundraisers. They've all been online this semester. So we'll sell like some t-shirts. We've been selling personalized planners and some cool things that there's a few that are still, the fundraisers are still going. So definitely go check that out on our Facebook page. But the funds go into our emergency fund, into our welfare fund. So we're able to go out on those calls and able to take those animals in and say they need a pretty serious surgery. We just had a dog that needed a limb amputation. So we were able to take them in with the funds that we raised through these awesome fundraisers, and we were able to get this dog the care that they need. And, you know, we do a lot of welfare as well. We supply food and any supplies that our fosters need. So all of the funds go directly back into the club and directly back into helping these animals. And when we work with Bark, we share supplies as well. We're all in it for the same reason. So if they need something and we have it, we're more than happy to share.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So we were going to check and see if there were any questions from the audience before we actually move into kind of the fostering program and some of your adoption activities. So one of the questions is, do you do spay and neuter days on the island? Like I know Puerto Rico, they do what are called spay-a-thons actually in Puerto Rico, where like for a week, veterinarians will come in and they'll do nothing but spay-neuter clinics. So do you do something similar to that on St. Kitts?
So currently our club isn't doing spay and neuter days, but there are 2 other clubs that do spay and neuter days. The one being FCP, which is the Feral Cat Project. They're doing spay and neuter days for feral cats as part of a TNR program, which is Trap, Neuter, Return. So that's once a month, I believe, that they do that. And we do work closely with them as well in regards to our cats and their cats if we need help with vice versa. It is something that maybe potentially we could get into in the future, but we don't have the volume of animals to necessarily be doing our own spay and neuter day for our animals with that frequency. Thankfully that we don't have that volume, that we don't have too many. So It's definitely not necessarily a bad thing. As a feline medical coordinator, I work very closely with the Ross Veterinary Clinic on campus. So I am in there all the time, getting to speak with the clinicians and talk to them about the cases that we have that they're taking care of for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that actually leads to a question that came up about what other faculty might get involved with Bark? Are there other faculty that have different roles or help support, or like you said, with the clinic that helps either Bark or helps the Shelter Medicine Club?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of, we work the most closely with Dr. Peta, who is kind of the head mastermind of everything shelter medicine at Ross. We're very fortunate to have her. And so that's been a very nice experience getting to work so closely with her. But also as the feline medical coordinators, we're working very closely with the clinicians in the clinic. And that's hopefully once we get back onto islands where we can get those training sessions and things, or lunch lectures. We'll kind of see how we can get things with COVID, but where we're hoping to get members to be able to be more involved with the faculty and staff.
All right. So we have a question from Yolanda, it looks like. So does the club do any behavior training or modification with shelter animals or animals that are being rehabbed or fostered?
Honestly, it's not so much that it's a club-wide thing, but usually if we have a case that maybe animal is a little bit more difficult than usual, we take extra care to make sure the foster that we're placed with is comfortable and willing to do any behavior training or modification. The really great thing about a lot of students at Ross is that usually they come with experiences, whether different animal hospitals or in shelters themselves. And so a lot of them come already trained in training and able to assist the animal in any necessary way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Good. Well, let's go ahead. We'll move into your adoption fostering programs. Tell us a little bit about those and what you have coming up.
All right, so these are some of our kitties. This is actually one of the first cases that I had as a feline medical coordinator. Miss Sherry and Terry were found at around 2.5 weeks old outside. We tried to find their mom and weren't successful. We were fortunate enough to be able to place them with a foster mama cat, which definitely doesn't always happen, but was a really great experience to be able to do that. So there's a picture of them with their foster mom cat. And then now they're 8 months old and very, very close with each other. But so that's just one of the nice experiences where we were able to find, well, students found these two kittens outside. Had we not been able to step in and help them, there's a chance that it wouldn't have had such a happy ending. But they're both still available for adoption. So if anyone wants a very cute orange tabby female cat, they can definitely reach out to us in regards to getting one.
All right.
And then these are some of our boys. Oscar actually got adopted about 2 hours ago. So he is no longer available. But Leo and Tino both are. And on Tino's picture, if you can see, he has some kind of white spots on his side. That is actually in regards to, he had an FHO, which is a femoral head osteotomy. And so that's a surgery that he had to have because he was hit by a car. And so that's something that we were able to provide with him. And now he is a very wild, rambunctious, almost year-old kitty. And he is available for adoption, along with Mr. Leo.
What would you say with some of your cats? I know the previous picture sounded like a fun success story, but do you have any other success story?
I definitely think that I think all of them, when it comes down to it, can be success stories. Maybe they're not all as nice to hear as two cute little adorable kittens, but even when we're getting animals in that are adult animals that are owner surrenders or found for different reasons, hit by car unfortunately does happen fairly frequently. It's just kind of can be part of the nature of having a lot of animals just kind of roaming freely with a different culture that there is on the island. But so then now we just have up all of our girl kitties. If you want a calico kitty, we have them. And Emmy, who is Oscar's sister, was adopted today with him as well. But we still have Mochi with a cute little heart nose. Sparrow, Robin, and Finch are 3 from one litter that are about 5 months old. But so it's a very rewarding experience to get to see these cats grow up and then end up getting adopted into their forever homes. And it's very rewarding.
So does Bark, this is actually my question because I honestly don't know. Does Bark board the animals, or do you try and foster everybody? Do you try and foster them all out, or are they boarded at Bark?
So currently Bark doesn't take any cats. So the only people that have cats is us. And then as far as dogs go, they do have their own dogs that they have at the shelter, but they do also try to work with us some to get them into foster homes as well.
All right. A good segue into our dogs.
Yes.
Who wants to take that one?
I'll take this one. This is Mr. Bodie, and he came to us. You can see in the first picture, he was very emaciated. He had some ticks and he had some worms. He is a great success story to see. You can see that's just a complete transformation of a dog. He is great with cats. He loves people. He plays with his ball. He's a snuggler. He's a great dog, and it's just you need to give these dogs a chance. You need to give them the care that they need, and they open up to you. It's really amazing. It's one of my favorite things. And next we have Skip. Skip had a pretty intense backstory. So Skip was hit by a car. A local managed to grab onto him, and he escaped from the local. he was missing for, I think, a week. And during this time, he had a completely fractured femur. So how we got around, we're really not even sure. But we found him again. We got him back. He went into surgery to fix his femur. He does still have a bit of an eye infection. You can see that his eye is a little bit closed, but he is with his foster and is doing fabulously. He's not yet, I don't think he's up for adoption just yet, because I think we're still trying to fix his eye before he is up for adoption, but you can see he's just the happiest boy in the world.
All right, great. And so, so in terms of kind of hit by a car, the Cetaceans involvement, what kind of efforts do you do to help educate Cetaceans about either abused or neglected or stray animals? Are there specific programs that you implement in the community, or is it more just kind of family by family, individual?
So I think the largest portion on that is probably going to be the outreach days. We definitely get a ton of questions at outreach days, trying to figure out what they should or should not be doing. Cetaceans really do love their animals, and sometimes it's really just a difference of not knowing something, and us being able to educate them and on food or medical care or behavior training or anything like that. I think maybe Kendall had something that we wanted to say.
Yeah, I was going to say a lot of times it is a case-by-case basis. You know, we're very involved in the community, so if someone does find an animal or knows that they need to surrender an animal, they know exactly who to call. Ross is very involved with the community, so a lot of the point of, you know, Shelter Medicine Club and Bark and, you know, everything in between, we love to just reach out and teach the locals, and, you know, if they have any questions or anything, we have our Facebook page, and our wonderful webmaster, who's not on the live stream right now, is really good with answering questions. So we educate where we can, and especially during that outreach days is a really good opportunity for us to help out.
What kinds of, besides Bark, what kinds of services, and I know our own small animal clinic on the campus is open to the community, are there other services on the island to help with animal welfare?
Well, there are other clubs that we're also involved in animal welfare. I know Willow had kind of talked about FCP. They work a lot with the feral cats that are around the island. Animal welfare is something that's kind of on every student's mind. So if students see an animal that's struggling, usually we will get a call about it. So it's just it's the student engagement is really our big way to interact with the community.
Okay. How about in terms of other, I mean, are there other vet clinics on the island that that maybe you interact with or have any connection with?
There's definitely the Ponds Clinic that you know, we go to at some points if, you know, the Ross Clinic can't take us in, and they've been great at helping us out. Other than that, there's, you know, Bark does just the wellness visits, and we have the Ross Clinic.
Okay. Is there, so if someone in the audience is interested in joining, do you have to be a particular semester or meet kind of any criteria?
You can be any semester to join the club as you know, just a member. If you're looking to become an officer, we prefer lower semesters just because we want the upper semesters get very demanding, so we want to make sure that school comes first. So if you're interested in becoming an officer, the earlier the better.
All right. And then if somebody's interested in adopting one of the animals that was shown, how do they go about adopting?
So No, you go, Natalie.
So you could reach out to us. You could reach out to us on our Facebook page, and we could see where you are in the world, so we could try and get the animal to you. We have sent animals to the United States before. Usually we get a student that is returning to the United States to be the flight buddy in a general geographical region that's close to whoever adopted. But I'm not sure how we're doing that because of COVID, but if you're interested, let us know because maybe we can figure something out.
And is there a particular criteria that has to be met? Do they need to fill out an application and provide any additional information about themselves?
We have a pretty general application process that goes through our adoptions coordinator, and she'll look it over and make sure that if you have any other animals in the house, that we always test our animals to make sure that they're not reactive, or if they are reactive to other animals. So to make sure an adoptable cat is good with dogs, etc., like that. So we always want to make sure that our animals are going to the best home possible and making sure that they're going to be comfortable there. So that's really most of our criteria there for adopting an animal.
Mm-hmm. And so moving forward now, and hopefully, people can all get back to the island and campus. Do you have any goals coming up? Do you have any kind of events that you're planning to maybe put together in the next few months?
So right now we actually have 2 events planned in the next 2 weeks. And then, from there, we're going to try and get back to our normal routine with the outreach days and everything. But this Saturday on Halloween, we're partnering with Michael's Burgers on the island, and we're doing a really cool Halloween party. Michael has been amazing. He always has doggy gelato, so we can always bring the dogs in and they can get some ice cream. And he's making little doggy burgers, and it's just going to be a fun time. And he's donating some of the proceeds back to us, so that's going to be fantastic. And we get to see all of our animals that are coming in some cool costumes. We're also doing our adoption and supply sale on November 7th, which is next Saturday. So hopefully we'll get some of our animals adopted, and that's a great opportunity as well for the locals to come and get some supplies for their animals, like leashes, collars, dog bowls, toys, things like that. So also, if they have any questions at that time, they can always come to see us then, because we have a bunch of officers there who are very eager to answer questions.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like fun. Great. All right. So maybe if each of you could talk a little bit about your career aspirations. What are you kind of thinking of doing when you graduate? So kind of that exciting time of seeing light at the end of the tunnel. And how do you think your involvement in this club, particularly in your leadership roles, as well as just club activities, help prepare you for your career?
I can go first. Well, to get me into this position, I've been working in animal shelters and volunteering since I was like 11. So, this just seems like the right place for me to be. So I love working with shelter animals. I love helping them get adopted and, doing everything in between. But when I'm officially Dr. Sweeney, I would love to be an emergency veterinarian. So that's also, why I joined the Shelter Medicine Club, so I can get that really cool emergency experience. And, while I've been on island, I've been going on these emergency calls, and I realize that this is the career path for me, because I feel that I can respond pretty promptly, and it's given me the confidence that I needed and the extra push to say, yes, I can do this. I feel like this is good for me.
Great. Thanks, Kendall.
I also have a bit of history working in shelter medicine before coming to RUS. and I'm interested in continuing that after graduation. To me, shelter medicine is just veterinary medicine in its most purest form. It's taking care of animals because it's the right thing to do, because you can, and it doesn't matter who owns them or where they came from. It's just making sure that they live happily and in a healthy way. So I'm really excited to be a part of this club, to also get the experience that Kendall is talking about, to get more hands-on and really understand all of the parts of shelter medicine, not just the medicine part, but how do we get to these animals to their fosters? How do we go from foster to adoption and everything? Like she said,
and I think too, Natalie, since this is your career interest, maybe you can speak to this a little bit. Shelter medicine also has a pretty direct connection to public health as well. So it's kind of a true One Health perspective where you're looking at animal welfare, human health, and a little bit about our public spaces and our ecosystems. Can you speak a little more about that?
Yes, actually, the One Health initiative is something that we talk a lot about at Ross, and it's something that really drew me to Ross University as a school. I'm really interested in ecology, and I'm obviously very interested in animal medicine. And I think when we combine all the aspects of the One Health initiative, you get a healthy life for everyone, people included. And you could see the effects of the One Health initiative in this community. We have dogs that come in that like maybe have a lot of ticks, that have a lot of fleas, and we are able to cleanse them of that, and it's reducing the parasite population for the island. It'll help people out. You don't have to, when you put a dog, there's not fleas on them, there's not ticks on them. It's healthier for them as well. So it's just like you said, it's a full circle. Everyone benefits when everyone's healthy and happy.
All right. So Kendall, tell us about your plans. I'm sorry. I think it's because of the picturing on my screen. I see Kendall right in front of me and Willow's kind of back down here. So sorry about that, Willow, but yep. Tell us about your plans. I think we lost your volume, Willow.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
So like Kendall, my goal actually would be to go into emergency medicine. While we do have an emergency medicine club on campus, I really wanted to get involved with Shelter Medicine Club just because it does provide a lot of hands-on getting to work with the animals. We do have emergency cases. We do have welfare cases. I think just overall, it's a very well-rounded experience. And so I think it kind of like hits all the points for all aspects of kind of veterinary medicine as far as small animals go. We don't do anything with cows or horses. It'd be cool if we did, but it definitely has been a really good experience in getting a hands-on experience, getting to see different cases and things go on. And, of course, we're not making decisions on our own or anything. We're just baby vets. We're not fully licensed or anything. We're working with the clinicians and stuff, but it is really cool to, it has been very good to be able to get that hands-on, get that close relationship with the doctors and kind of have that full experience is definitely something that I'm very glad that I pursued.
Yeah. So have you guys given thought yet to your clinical year and looking at kind of programs or vet schools that have a strong emphasis in shelter medicine or emergency medicine? Or is it a little early yet to give thought to that?
It's a little early. I'm in 4th semester going into 5th. For anyone who isn't familiar with our program, we have 7 semesters on islands that are before we go to our clinical placement school. And so being in 4th, we still have a few semesters of thought a little bit about maybe location-wise where I want to go, but honestly, like looking into specifics, and we really haven't gotten, Ross does provide us presentations on what each of the schools kind of offer and stuff, and we haven't really gotten that yet. I believe we get it in 5th semester, so hopefully soon we'll get to start kind of thinking more about that. Right. But it's coming quickly. Ross goes by very fast. Very fast.
It does. It does. Yeah. All right. So we have the QR code up for your Facebook page. And so for our audience members, you can certainly connect with them and learn a little bit more about the club and their goals and objectives. Get involved if you'd like. So at this point, I would just like to thank our medicine club officers. You ladies have done an awesome job, and I know you're busy, right smack in the middle of the semester. You have a lot on your plate. So to give us some time to share your experiences and the you know, just the exciting initiatives that the club is doing is great, and we really do appreciate that. So besides the code to get into the club's Facebook page, we will also have that URL pinned up there for more information about Ross. And if you just need to get more knowledge about how our program works and all of the amazing opportunities for our students in our program. So thank you very much for everybody tuning in tonight. And we hope you have a wonderful evening. And everybody take care and stay healthy. Good night now.